Welcome in, everybody, finally, to the first ever edition of the Husker Nation podcast. I am David. Today's program is brought to you by Prize Picks, a new and different way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com, sign up using the code REGULAR, and receive a 100% matching bonus on your first deposit. That's prizepicks.com, promo code REGULAR. Welcome in, guys, to the, again, first ever. I've got some microphone issues. I'm going to just get a little echo there. There, I think that's better. Hopefully that sounds okay on your end. Welcome in to the Husker Nation podcast, and we are officially in what we refer to as the dungeon, which is also code for the only room in the house that my wife lets me have my studio in. So, we've been wanting to drop this podcast for a while. I was going to drop it here a little bit earlier this week, but I got a phone call. I think it was Tuesday night, the night before we announced our new AD. I got a phone call and said, "Hey, I think there's some AD news coming tomorrow." So I went ahead and waited. I'm glad I did, because it's something that we can talk about here on our inaugural episode of the Husker Nation podcast. Before we get started here, guys, I need to you guys to help me take care of a little business. If you don't mind, if you would hit that like button down below on the bottom of the screen. Also, please hit the subscribe button. It'll help the channel out a whole bunch. And click that little notification bell. That way you get notified every time we do put out a new episode, a new video of the Husker Nation podcast. Also, give me a follow on Twitter. I'm at SandoDFS. That's at SandoDFS. It's a good way for us to interact. I like to put out updates. I'll put out notices about topics. I want to interact with you guys, because that's really what this podcast, the whole reason I'm putting it out there, came about. So follow me on Twitter at SandoDFS, and then make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so we can try and keep this channel going. That is my hope, that we have many, many more of these to come. So, who am I, and why the Husker Nation podcast? Well, I'll just give you a brief synopsis of who you are watching, who are listening to. I have spent my entire life, save the first few years of my life where I was born in Southern California, here in Nebraska. I am a passionate, avid sports fan, period. And very, very avid and passionate about the Huskers. We're really calm right now, and we're going to try and keep this thing calm as we go throughout the episodes here of the show. But I'll just let you know right now that I am yell at the TV guy. I am throw a sandwich at the TV guy. I get a little bit worked up, especially when it comes to the teams. When it comes to the teams that I follow, and Nebraska certainly falls into that category. I spent about somewhere between 8 to 10 years of my life. I'm not sure exactly now. As I'm getting older, my memory's kind of going. In the sports media business and the news media business here in Nebraska. So I have covered the University of Nebraska and its athletic programs for a lot of years. I was mainly in the radio business, sports talk, news talk. In fact, many of you listening are probably of an age to know that the flagship radio station for the University of Nebraska is called Sports Nightly. That program used to be produced in the building that I worked at up on 44th and O, and I cut my teeth and got started in the radio business as a producer for Sports Nightly for several years. Many of you will remember a gentleman by the name of Jim Rose, Gary Sharp, John Bishop, Tom Stevens, just a few of the guys that have hosted that show over the years, and a few of the guys that I got to work with, and I got to produce the show with them. And then I went on from there to into the news side of things for a while, covering all kinds of news around Nebraska, and certainly the Huskers. Had a sports talk radio show in a little bit smaller town outside of Lincoln. So yeah, and now my family is here just south of Lincoln, and you know what? I miss being able to talk Huskers. I miss being able to talk sports. So this gives me an opportunity to kind of break out the gear, the studio gears you see behind you. I have to get my wife down here. We're going to have to do a little bit of decorating right now. What you're seeing behind me is a blanket and some sound panels to help soundproof this room to make a studio quality. But anyway, that's who I am. That's why I'm doing this. And as I said earlier, one of the main reasons I'm doing this is to talk and interact and connect with other Husker fans that are just as passionate as I am. The name of this podcast is Husker Nation Podcast. I am not Husker Nation. All of you listening, and hopefully listening and watching, and hopefully that number will grow and grow and grow if you don't think this thing is a complete disaster, a complete train wreck. I want to interact with you guys. I want to know what you guys want to talk about. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Because it's fun. Because at the end of the day, I think we're all Husker fans, but we all might have different ideas about stuff. And we just like to talk football with each other, and basketball and, excuse me, other sports. We're going to cover as much as we can here on this Husker Nation podcast. But so that's why I'm here. And I'm glad I am. I hope this thing takes off. I hope you guys enjoy it. And as long as you do, we'll keep doing it. Because there's a lot of exciting things happening. It's going to be a hell of a year for football. I can't really think of a more important year for Husker football in my lifetime. So anyway, before we get into our first topic of the day, I want to remind you guys that Prize Picks is a fun and different way to play daily fantasy sports. At Prize Picks, you don't compete against thousands of other players. It's just you against the house. It's really simple, guys. This channel is normally I do DFS, daily fantasy picks and information and that, but I'm going to use this channel for the Husker Nation podcast too. But if any of you guys are interested in daily fantasy, I host a daily show that gives out picks and my plays and my thoughts for upcoming games. But yeah, Prize Picks is really cool. It's really fun. You just choose your players, and then you bet an over-under of their projected score or a projected fantasy score, assists, rebounds. There's all kinds of different projections for every sport at Prize Picks. They have regular points, fantasy points, assists, hits, all that kind of stuff. And right now, for viewers and listeners of this channel, use the promo code REGULAR and get a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. There's no gimmicks with that, guys. You put in 100, they'll put in 100. It's 100%. If you use the code REGULAR at sign up, or down below in the description of this video, there's a link. And all you have to do is click that link. It'll take you right to it. You won't have to enter any other codes or anything. Sign up, put your deposit in. They'll match it. It's a fun new way to play daily fantasy, guys. You got to go to prizepicks.com and check it out. Also, today's program, the Husker Nation podcast, is brought to you by CFB Kings. Follow at CFB Kings, that's CFB Kings, on Twitter and Instagram for college football news, stats, highlights, and more. Look, college football is right around the corner. Fantasy football is pretty much what I do. I enjoy it, and fantasy college football is a thing, and I like playing fantasy college football. And this is the place to find everything you need for us regular guys to do our research. College football, they got everything. They've got stats, they've got highlights, they've got any breaking news. So check them out. A lot of stuff there for college football fans. It's at CFB Kings on both Twitter and Instagram. Okay, yeah, I kind of left that out of the my opening introduction here, guys. I'm kind of just doing this on the fly with very few notes. This channel normally I host a daily fantasy podcast show that focuses on playing daily fantasy. I've had some success doing it, so I started making a channel to help other regular guys like me. Basically, the point is to prove that you don't have to be a professional DFS player to make money and have fun playing DFS. So that's how this channel started. I had talked to a lot of people, man, you got to get back into Husker sports. You got to get back into Husker sports. And so this is what we're going to do tonight is take advantage of that and get into Husker sports. So where do we start? We had some news come out earlier this week. Like I said, it's why I didn't drop the podcast earlier, was because I was waiting to see who was going to be named athletic director. Well, obviously, Trev Alberts, as you know by now, is our new athletic director. Twitter is an interesting place. I noticed a whole lot of people out there did not seem very happy with the appointment of Trev Alberts. Look, I'm not qualified about college football administration to know whether or not Trev Alberts is going to do a good job. I was covering the Huskers when Steve Peterson was hired. And I was at his introductory press conference, and then we talked a little bit off to the side. I had some words with him. When that happened, everybody in this state thought that Steve Peterson was a slam dunk. Coach Osborne had recommended him. He was a Nebraska guy. He was one of ours coming home to lead the athletic department back into some glory. He was one of ours. He's he's part of the family. I keep hearing that a lot. Family, family, family. I don't know if that's important or not, guys. I really don't. The fact is, I think the AD success doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's part of the family. It's someone who knows Nebraska football, obviously, but it's somebody that can handle the administrative side, the relationships, the people, the fundraising, and a guy that's not afraid to make the tough decisions. I'll be honest with you, I was a little underwhelmed when Trev was announced, and not because I don't like Trev, and not because I don't think he'll do. I don't know Trev, so it's not possible for me to dislike him, but I don't know what kind of athletic director he's going to be. I found it very interesting that we needed a search firm in about 3.5 weeks to find the guy that's working within Nebraska athletics already. They said they talked to about 25 different people. We landed on Trev Alberts. Man, a lot of you guys were mad about this. Again, I felt a little bit underwhelmed by it, but I think more than the person, I think it's more what was in his message. So I tried to reserve judgment until I heard him talk, and I liked some of the things he said. I think in this case, it probably is good that we had a guy from the family. I don't think we were ever going to go outside the family, whether we're talking about John Cook or, Jamie Pollard shut us down pretty early. But we're talking about John Cook or his name escapes me now. That's working for the Big 12 right now. Anyway, it's not important. I think someone familiar with the situation, but I was kind of a guy that was rooting for John Cook. Okay, I thought John Cook would do a really good job, but it became I was made aware. John Cook's 65 years old, and I think with where this athletic department is right now, and more specifically, guys, we're talking about football, right? Where football is right now, man, I think maybe we need somebody that we believe will be here long term. Now, again, we thought the same thing with Steve Peterson, right? Oh, he was going to be the guy forever. And that did not work out. I'm willing to give Trev Alberts a chance. What choice do I have but to give him a chance? I'm going to pay attention to how he does, what what his message is, how he handles things. We know it's a sticky situation, or it could be a touchy situation with Coach Frost right now. So I'm going to pay attention. And I did see a lot of people on Twitter that were, being supportive and were overjoyed by the pick. But I saw a couple of posts from people that said things like, "Hey, Husker fans, if you're going to be mad about Trev Alberts, keep it to yourself and shut up. We don't need your negativity." And I agree with that to an extent. I don't think there's any reason to bash the guy or flip out because he's the athletic director. But I also don't think that we just have to follow in line what the university says and say, okay, everything's great now. We got Trev Alberts without asking questions, without wanting some answers of our own, wanting to hear what he says, wanting to see what he does. We can be sheep if we want, and everything that, comes out of the Ronnie Green's mouth and Ted Carter's mouth, and we just say, okay, that's great, and everything's good, and nothing to see here, and everything's going to be fine. I've always said one of the reasons that Nebraska is such a special place, and Nebraska has had so much success in football for how many years, because it had a fan base that demanded that. We cared about Husker football, and other programs around the country would make fun of us about all we care about is corn and football, right? Well, you know what that is? That caring sets expectations. That caring tells the people down there at the university that good enough just is not good enough for us. We don't accept that. We will hold you accountable. We will hold your feet to the fire. And once you have a fan base that is apathetic to what's going on with the football team, the basketball team, or inside the athletic department in itself, then you're Purdue and you're Indiana. So I say to Husker fans, yeah, let's support Trev Alberts. Let's give him a chance. Let's find out if he was, the right guy for the job. But let's also listen to his message. Let's not just take everything he says as truth. Everything he does, if he does something, we don't question it and we just go along. I don't think that's healthy for the program, folks. I really don't. I think we need to continue to demand that our administration, and then filtering down to our coaches, are doing things the right way and are making progress and are doing things that are in best interest of the fans, the student athletes, and this program in general. I love Nebraska football as much as life itself. These last how many years have made me sick to my stomach. Seriously. I'm still holding out belief that our standards can get back to where they were nationally, on a national level. Trev Alberts could have came into that press conference and he could have won the room instantly. Very simply like this. I used to play for this program, and when I left this building, the last time I left this building as a player, we were winning national championships, and we were one of the top, if not the top, college football program in all of the United States of America. And now I'm back, and that's not what's happening. It's different now than when I left. I don't like how it looks now, and I'm damn sure going to fix it. and make sure that we get back to where this place was when I left here. Put everything back the way you got it, right? Mom always said. Put the stuff back the way you found it. Well, Trev Alberts left here, and then he came back. And in those years that he was gone, we didn't take care of things. We didn't put things back the way they were, right? We didn't bother. And Trev should be pissed. Now, I'm not saying come in ranting and screaming and yelling. But all he had to do was stand at that podium and say, this isn't how it was when I was here. I know how it was before I was here. And while I was here, this ain't it. It's not acceptable. And I'm damn sure going to put it back the way that it used to be. Tell me what your standard is. What's the most important thing that you're going to do? How are you going to set the standard? What are you going to do different than everybody else did? That's the kind of stuff I wanted to hear from Trev Alberts, and I'm not sure I did. Now, he won the press conference. He said a lot of great things. I loved his comment about healthy tension. See, in order to grow, you need friction. Okay? We don't just need a bunch of yes men following along. And that's where the fans come in, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, Mike Riley's the new coach? Okay, cool, no problem. Hey, I hope you win a few. If you don't, we know you tried. We know you guys were trying your hardest. So, whatever. It'd be nice to go to a bowl, but, whatever you guys decide, it's great. No. See, growth requires friction. And when Trev used the term, a healthy tension, I like that. You got to make some people down there uncomfortable right now. Because we can't let this be the standard. And the longer that it is the standard, the more comfortable people are going to become. And now all of a sudden, that standard that existed 20, 25 years ago, we don't even know what the hell that is. Now we've accepted a new standard. Boy, I hope we can go to a bowl game. That'd be great. Yeah, let's go to a bowl game this year. Boy, if only we could get up there and have the kind of success that Iowa State's having. If I hear one more person compare the University of Nebraska to Iowa State and how they want to be like Matt Campbell and Jamie Pollard in Iowa State, I'm going to throw up. That can't be the standard. If it is, well then, shows like this and all the radio, everybody has to stop talking about competing for national championships, competing for Big Ten championships. As stupid as this conference is, which we don't belong in, we have to compete for championships of the conference if we want to get back to national championships, right? What's the standard? I hope it's not Iowa State. I hope it's not Kansas State. I hear all these people talking about the Oklahoma game coming up. Hell, we tried to back out of it. Because, why? Well, it was going to be a loss. And that's one less chance to get enough wins to go to a bowl game. No, Dave, that's not why it was. See, we lost a lot of money during COVID. And so we just think we need to it'd be better this year. Shut up. Really? That was why? No, you didn't want to play the game because you're afraid you're going to get smoked and Scott's going to get embarrassed on TV again. And maybe that'll still happen. But I hear people now talking about Oklahoma. Well, that's going to be a loss. That's a loss. Really? Just automatically? Kansas State's beat Oklahoma 2 years in a row, haven't they? At least 2 out of the last 3. So now are we saying we can't even do what K-State does? Now we're not even looking at Iowa State as the damn standard. We're looking at K-State. Because K-State's beat Oklahoma, and we've decided we can't beat Oklahoma. We're just not there yet. So now is our baby steps to be K-State? No, it can't be like that, Trev. So that's what I'm looking for out of Trev. Lead us out of this low-end standards. Because you know what, Husker fans? I love the sellout streak just as much as anybody else does. And it's like the last thing we're holding on to, right? The last thing, oh, that sellout streak. We can't lose that. It's like if we somehow lose that, then we'll just be totally irrelevant nationally. We got best thing to happen to lose that sellout streak. Because what are we doing? We're winning 4 and 5 football games a year, and we just keep shelling out the money. Well, you got to support your team. Sure you do. You don't have to be a sucker. The Cubs used to have the greatest gig in the world, man. They were the lovable losers. In fact, if they won, it was almost bad because everybody wanted to have self-loathing thoughts and, oh, we're the Cubs, we always lose. But we go to every game. We pay for the money. We buy the gear. We spend our cash, man. We hand it over. If I buy a gallon of milk and it's sour, and then I go back to the store and buy another gallon of that same kind of milk, and it's sour too, I'm not going to keep paying for that brand of milk. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world if that sellout streak had to end. Just for us fans, the voices. It's the only way we really get heard, guys, is with our money in our wallets. You stand up finally and say, no, you know what? It was a hell of a run, but I'm not paying for this crap that you're putting on the field anymore. I'm not paying to watch you get smoked by Illinois. Be an underdog to Indiana. Hope to God that Purdue doesn't blow us out. I'm not paying for that. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Got a little bit off the rails there as far as the athletic director goes, but I see no reason Trev can't do a fine job. And I think we should all support him. And I think we should all support all the teams. But I also don't think you're being a bad fan if you want to ask questions, if you want to know what the direction is, if you want to know what's being done, excuse me, to fix this problem. I don't think that's bad. In fact, I think it's a sign of a good fan base that you don't just roll over and, whatever. Maybe we'll go to that Weed Eater Bowl this year. Boy, that sure be great. God, if we could just get back to that. Are you guys tired of having to drive to a different state to place a wager like me here in Nebraska? Are you tired of using some offshore website who charges you to get cash out, your own winnings? Then makes you wait 3 weeks to get it? Check out Prize Picks, guys. It's the fun and new way to wager on daily fantasy. It's simple. You find props that you like from tons of players in tons of different sports. You pick over or under that projection. You put them in a group of 2 or more, a parlay. Many of you know what a parlay is. You put in your wager, and it's that simple. But Prize Picks has quick, easy payouts. They don't charge a fee for you to get your own winnings back. And right now, you can use the code REGULAR. That's regular, REGULAR, and get a 100% match on your first deposit. Yes, 100%, dollar for dollar, up to $100. But only if you use the code REGULAR. Sign up, start winning today. It's PrizePicks.com, code REGULAR. There's a link at the bottom of this video that has the information. If you click on that link, then you don't even have to worry about putting any codes in. It'll take you right there. Your bonus will automatically be applied. Just sign up. It's a lot of fun, guys. I've been doing daily fantasy for a long time. This is something different, and it's cool. It's like playing. Those of you who are wagerers on sports, It's like, playing a 3-team or a 4-team parlay, except you don't have to go to Iowa to do it. You can do it right here, and you're parlaying, players' performances. That's what you're choosing against. So, yeah, Prize Picks, it's a new and different way to play fantasy. Go to prizepicks.com and enter the code regular. Also, guys, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love you to stop by, talk to a friend of mine, see what he has to offer. It's College Football Kings, and that's at CFB Kings on both Twitter and Instagram. All kinds of college football news. He's got stats, highlights, updates. Again, my main thing is fantasy football for this channel, is what it usually is. And college football fantasy is just as fun as the NFL, man. It's great, and you can win a little money doing it. But you got to be informed even more than the NFL. You got to really pay attention. And the guys over there at CFB Kings, they have all that information for you. They put it all together. It's great. Heck, they can even do graphics for you. Like if you wanted a logo, students, NIL students out there, if you're working on your logo for your brand, they're whizzes with that kind of stuff too. But yeah, do me a favor. Check out at CFB Kings on Twitter and Instagram for all of those things that you will need. And make sure you give me a follow on Twitter as well, at SandoDFS. Okay, went a little long in that first segment. When I was putting together my idea, excuse me here, for what we're going to talk about on the first episode of our podcast. There's a lot of different things come to mind. And again, that's why I want you to follow me on Twitter, guys, or just leave some comments down below here. After you hit the like and subscribe button, just leave some comments. There's something you want to talk about? Give me a critique. Is there something you want to critique? But somebody specifically you want to hear from. We'll try and make that happen. What I came up with, though, for our first episode, as I said earlier, this is probably the most important football season I can remember in my lifetime. I don't know what's going to happen if we win 4 games again. I just can't even imagine it. It's got to get fixed. So, how is it going to get fixed, and what are the most important things to fixing it? And I put together a top 5 list of the things I think are most important for winning football this year. Number 1 is very obvious. He wears number 2. Adrian Martinez. Adrian Martinez has to be the guy this year. Has to be. That we thought he was going to be as a freshman when he was a Heisman Trophy candidate. I know it's obvious. You got to stop turning the ball over. He just has to. He has to make better, more accurate throws. He can't fumble the ball. Stop throwing interceptions. Stop missing guy. It's as much sometimes of what he doesn't throw as what he does. I mean, you can watch a game, got dudes running wide open, and he's throwing dump down swing passes to Wan'Dale Robinson. Adrian, I love you. I've tried to support you. It's got to be this year, man. It's got to be. And there's got to be a short leash. There has to be. Look, we were all clamoring for Luke McCaffrey last year until we realized, oh, crap, this guy can't throw the ball. Like, literally can't throw the ball. And we needed Adrian to come back in, and he was okay. He was better, but he wasn't good enough. Even in that Rutgers game, what did he have, 2 or 3 picks? So, Adrian, number 1 on my list of keys to winning Husker football this year. Number 2, kind of rolls into 2 and 3 together. Number 2 is Scott Frost. And what I'm talking about, well, there's several things I'm talking about. First of all, I'm talking about quarterback left and quarterback right is not an offense. Where's this creativity Scott was supposed to bring, right? Your play calling has got to be better. We have got to get more guys involved. We've got to throw the ball down the field. You've got to call a better game. You got to have a better game plan. I was talking to someone who I trust very much, who is tied in a little bit down there at the university, and I was hearing some stories I didn't like. Things like Matt Lubick would put in a game plan, have it all ready to go, and Scott had come in late in the week or right around game day and just totally throw it away and just start calling different plays, stuff they didn't even work on in practice. Now, I don't know 100% if that's true, but I've heard enough of those stories to believe that it's true. Scott's got to get focused. He's got to put his ego away, and if that means turning over the play calling to Matt Lubick, then do it. We got to do something. It's got to change. Number 3, wide receiver play, obviously, and that kind of goes into number 2. I think I do believe Scott's been hamstrung by the availability of his wide receivers. We lost basically an entire wide receiver recruiting class, so it put us a year behind. Thomas Fidoni's going to be out this year. That's too bad because I think he was going to be a big impact player. But Omar Manning, everything I'm seeing looks like he's going to be ready to go. We need him to be that guy he's supposed to be. Samari Toure, the experience, the attitude. Xavier Betts, Allen, all these guys, they've got to be able to make plays from the wide receiver position. And now that we have some guys, it looks like that are ready to do it, that's where I tied into the play calling. They have to become part of the offense. It can't be little screen passes to Wandale Robinson, who's not here anymore. But, we got to throw the ball downfield to these receivers. Adrian has to be accurate, and these receivers need to live up to the expectations and carry this offense. Number 4, where's my run the damn ball guy? I know he's here somewhere. There's at least one here, right? I'm that guy too, by the way. But it's our running game. Who's going to be the back? Is it Marquise Stepp? Well, he comes in and then he's hurt. He's already supposed to be our feature back from day one, comes in and he's hurt. Sevian Morrison, Marvin Scott, Gabe Irvin. We have to have a running game. We have to have somebody grab this position by the horns and take it, and we have to be willing to hand them the ball and let the running backs run the ball, not the quarterbacks. Running backs. I'm nervous about it. It's one of my biggest spots I'm nervous about because I don't know what I'm getting from Marquise Stepp. I'm just blanking on the other guy that had a great spring, big guy, walk on. It'll come to me when the show's over. He needs to be there and contribute. All of these backs, they have to. Somebody's got to get 700 yards, right? 800 yards. And we have to commit to running the ball, giving them a chance, and not having 4 different running backs for 4 different plays. Run the damn ball, guy. I'm with you. Run the ball. Let's start running it with our running backs and not our quarterbacks. Number 5, threw a few things around, but in the vein of I'm demanding that we run the ball and we find a running back that can become the bell cow, the O-line. Let's take that step. We know there's talent there. We've been told there's talent there, right? It's there. They've got a year of experience. They got to be better. Cam Jurgens, it goes without saying. I don't think he's going to have snap issues this year, but we got to snap the ball. Please tell me that by this year we're not worried about if the damn center can snap the ball. But Turner Corcoran, Ben Hart, Piper, Hickson, Banks, Novelli, all these guys, they need to take that next step now and start to be dominant so we can run the ball and so we can make plays down the field without Adrian getting sacked and fumbling the damn ball. They all have to come together, guys. That's what it has to be. So that was my top 5. I went through that a little quicker, but I know I ran long on our AD discussion. Before we wrap things up, guys, slow time of year for sports, right? Really nothing to watch or wager on. No, that's wrong. Discover the fun and easy way to wager on daily fantasy sports year-round at prizepicks.com. Hundreds of players, props, all kind of different sports, even some I hadn't even heard of. It's a really cool site. You simply check out a player projections for the day, choose over or under that number, parlay two or more together, and you win. It's like playing a parlay at the casino, except you're doing it with fantasy players. So go to prizepicks.com, enter the code REGULAR, and get a 100% match on whatever money you put in, up to $100. You put in 50, they'll put in 50. But only if you use the code REGULAR when you sign up, or you click the link down below in the description of this video. And also, guys, it's also brought to you today by CFB Kings. Follow at CFB Kings on Twitter and Instagram for all your college football news, stats, highlights, and as you prep if you are a college football fantasy player. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed it. Gives me a chance to get some stuff off my mind. And now I want to hear from you, please. Again, in the comments section down below, give me some feedback. Give me some topics you want to talk about. Maybe somebody you want to hear from. And on that note, I will say this before I get out of here. If you go to the banner, go to my page on this channel, you're going to see a little D on the page. That D stands for donations. I have never asked anybody in any of my videos that I've ever made, Daily Fantasy, I've never asked them for money. And I'm not begging anybody for money now. But if you would like to donate, any money we receive, I am going to put towards name, image, and likeness, from the aspect of I would like to get some players to come on and talk and do some interviews, and with maybe some of the players we don't hear about, just, try and get some more insight of what's going on down that program. I'd love to talk to some players. Now with NIL, it's going to cost you X amount of money. I've been in touch with Open Doors a little bit. They give you a list, but they really haven't given me like a price sheet yet on like how much they think X guy or Y guy, would charge to do a 30-minute interview. But anyway, that's the only reason I bring up the donation button, guys. Because if you'd like to hear from some athletes, why not throw them a little bit of money so they can feel good about this NIL? And I think actually we're probably going to have to with a lot of them if we want to hear from them. So if you feel the need to donate, or if you feel like, you want to contribute to maybe getting one of those guys or some more of those guys on the air on this podcast, I will work my butt off to get them on the air. And I got to find out exactly like how much that's going to cost. So that's why that donation button is there. Use it if you want. If you don't, cool. Just tune in and listen, and we will do our best in the coming days and weeks I want to have interesting guests on. We're going to talk to some guys in the Nebraska sports media. I want to have interesting topics to talk about. I want to hear from you guys. I know there's other guys out there that have podcasts. Let's jump in and do one together. Just let me know what you want to hear. So before I sign off, guys, please give me a follow on Twitter at SandoDFS, and please hit the like, subscribe, and follow button, the like and subscribe button down below in the video, and click the little notification bell. You get notified every time we have a new video out. So it will really help the channel if you remember to do that. If you remember the Twitter, it's going to be fun, man. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I can't wait to hear from you both on Twitter and in the comments section. I can't wait to hear what you thought. I can't wait to hear what you want to talk about, something you want to dive more in depth on, and we're gonna definitely work on that. So yeah, can't wait to hear from you. A reminder: today's show was brought to you by Prize Picks, a new and different way to play daily fantasy. Go to prizepicks.com, sign up using the code REGULAR, and receive a 100% matching bonus on your first deposit, or just click the link down below in the description of this video. Hey, thank you very much, guys. A lot of you have been supportive on Twitter. I can't wait to make the next video. We finally got the first one. I'm ready for the second one. Let me hear from you, and we'll talk to you next time. Go Huskers.